app, always too on your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. But don't forget, we would love for you to watch us on your computer, your mobile device. You can do that over at SuperTalk TV. Rounding out our today live here at Sally Kate Winters Family Services in West Point, where we're asking for your support for the good work that they do. If you've been inspired by any of the stories you've heard, particularly Chief Hughes, SuperTalk, you can text SuperTalk 25 to 91999 to donate. But we got an old friend back with us, Miss Karla Tye, here on Good Things. I feel like I see you all the time. It just flies by, Miss Karla, but y'all are up to so much good. You're the director for Children's Advocacy Centers of Mississippi, and I know you're busy during the month of April, but first, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And I feel like folks should know now, but just in case, how do you describe what an advocacy center is here in Mississippi?
Well, the Child Advocacy Centers are facility-based programs that intervene after there's been an allegation of felony-level child abuse. So they work very closely with Child Protective Services, law enforcement, and the prosecutor's offices, where they provide forensic interview services and help a child to be heard after there's been an allegation of abuse. They provide family advocacies to make sure the family gets linked up with services they may need, or the child may be linked up with services they need. And they work very closely with that entire multidisciplinary team to make sure the child both has their case investigated, but also that they heal from the abuse that's occurred to them.
Yeah, because I often say, too, whenever you talk about that, I can't imagine being the parent in the middle of mix of that. If an allegation came up against my child or, someone in our family, where your mind is going, it's not keeping everything, all your ducks in a row. It's not necessarily, and to have someone be able to come in and kind of help direct and steer and recognize what maybe you're missing in terms of what your child would need would be a blessing.
Absolutely. When you think about it, if a family's in the middle of that crisis, it's hard to think straight. It's hard to know where to go. And I often use this example that if you're in our field, we understand the difference between youth court and circuit court and chancery court. But if you're an everyday parent that had something happen to their child, you may not know what the next steps are, who to go to, where to have support, and suddenly you're thrown into a system where the case is being investigated, and you want to make sure your child gets help. I mean, that's going to be what's foremost for that family, making sure the child heals, that they get the right medical services, if they need to be linked up with a forensic medical exam. So the Child Advocacy Center is there to basically wrap their arms around that child and the family to make sure that they get what they need.
So that happens here at Sally Kate. Of all the things that we've been talking about today and all the different pieces that they play, it's hard to imagine that all that good happens under one roof. But I know there's a lot of busy bees here. But that is part of it, too. They are a child advocacy center here at Sally Kate.
They do. We have 14 child advocacy centers around the state, and Sally Kate Winters has a phenomenal program here.
And along with so many of their other programs, too, from Runaway Teens and all that. I learn something new every time I come here, Karla. I'm walking away with knowing the safe space sign. Like, I feel like every parent listening to Good Things should go home and ask their kid in car rider line, do you know where the safe space sign is? But it also sounds like, too, that we should know where our child advocacy centers are also. This is heavy stuff. And as everyday working people, you feel like, how am I supposed to help with that? How do I fit into the puzzle of keeping kids safe? It's above my pay grade. It's above my education, whatever. So how do we fit? How does the normal everyday person listening to Good Things play a role in keeping kids safe?
Well, everybody does have a role to play. And I will say, I think the number one thing they can do is first learn about child abuse. And that's part of the reason why we have this April Child Abuse Prevention Month. A lot of the child advocacy centers provide what we call Darkness to Light training. That is a community-based program to provide education training for families on knowing the symptoms of abuse, the signs of abuse, and then what to do about it, as well as what steps they can put in place to protect their child from ever being abused. So I think just as a parent, as someone who may be working in the church with children, who's in a school, it's our responsibility to learn more about child abuse and how to prevent it from ever occurring. So I would encourage them to reach out to their local child advocacy center and see if they have some prevention training. We have several that are through the Children's Advocacy Centers of Mississippi. They're virtual, and they're all free because we want to make sure this training gets out there. And then beyond that, connecting with the Child Advocacy Center to see if they can volunteer in some way, how they can provide donations to a child advocacy center, because they're, this is, all these services are free for children when they come through the child advocacy center. And so they, it costs funds.
Right.
Right.
And if that's where you feel led to do, it's like, hey, I can't do any of the other, but man, I can help keep you guys doing exactly what you're doing on a daily basis. And I think that's a part that we can all play too. And you can do that by texting SuperTalk 25 to 91999 to donate. Carla, I'll see you again soon. How about that?
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank
We appreciate your time. You guys stick with us. We got the Boys with Sports Talk coming up next from 3 to 6. But Rhino and I will meet you back in the studio tomorrow at 2. But until then, I hope you all find time for the good.